Hello, we just arrived in Athens to our Hotel Philippos. We walked in and whoa, there's a bed and our luggage. And then if you look to the right, there's our bathroom. You have to crawl all over everything just to get to anything. There's our bathroom. And then we looked out, the curtain was closed, so we opened it. The patio that we have is actually bigger than the room. But let's go look outside. Here's a patio. Very nice. Oops, let me put the strap on. And then we have a nice view of the ruins up there. It's how close we are to the hotel, or how close it is to the hotel. That's Greece for ya. Now we're tired. We're going to go to sleep.
Decision for the erection, for the construction of these buildings was taken by the assembly of the people, by the Athenian men, after a proposal of Pericles, of the great leader of the city, but it was a democratic decision. Okay, I hope that you will enjoy the tour. Meanwhile, we'll have the stop in front of the Stadium of Athens. I've told you that this is the only stadium in the world which is made of marble, and its capacity 69,000 seats. The stadium was rebuilt on the very spot of the ancient stadium of the city, and it was rebuilt in 1895. The ancient stadium was destroyed in the Roman period because of the barbarian raids. It was renovated, destroyed again. You see, ready architectural material for the local people, earthquakes as well. And in the years of the Ottoman occupation, there were 3 kilns in the stadium. They burned the marble seeds to make lime. If you put this marble in the kiln, you can have lime. Lime for the plaster of the walls, you see. And in this way, the seats of the stadium were destroyed. Only some seats of the old stadium have been preserved. And in 1896, a rich Greek, a benefactor, Georgios Averov, you see his statue next to the stadium, paid a huge sum in that period, 4 million golden drachmas, for the reconstruction of the seats. Marble from the Penteli mountain, the capacity 69,000 seats. The next year, in 1896, the first modern Olympic Games were held in this stadium. The first marathon race was held here in 1896, and the victor was Spiros Louis, a Greek man. He was not an athlete. This man transported water from the different quarters of the city. He delivered water. And it seems that he was really well trained, and he managed to defeat great athletes of that period. His record was 2 hours and 58 minutes. Nowadays, the best record of the marathon race is 2 hours and 7 minutes. And by the way, the marathon race commemorates the marathon battle and Philippides. Herodotus, the father of history, Herodotus wrote history for the first time in the history of the world, and he wrote the history of the Persian Wars. So he informs us that at the beginning of the 5th century before Christ, the Persians attacked Greece. Darius, king of Persia, decided to punish the Athenians for having supported the Greek cities of Asia Minor in their revolt against him. And Darius sent a huge army, 100,000 soldiers and 10,000 equestrians, horsemen, who disembarked at Marathon. Marathon is an area 42 kilometers away from the city of Athens, 26 miles away. That's why the distance of the marathon race is 42 kilometers and 195 meters, that is about 26 miles. The Persians were defeated by the Greeks at Marathon, though the Greeks were numerically inferior. And this victory of the Greeks over the Persians was thanks to the tactics of Miltiades, an Athenian general. He had a clever idea. When the two armies lined up, one opposite the other, as it was usual in those times, Miltiades left the center of the Greek lines weak. he put a few rows of soldiers in the center. And he strengthened the wings. So the Persians saw that the center of the Greek lines was weak. They attacked there and they managed to break the Greek lines in the center. But the wings, developed in a pincer movement, they managed to surround the Persians and attacked from behind. The modern historians believe that the marathon battle took place in an area between two big marshes. You know what a marsh is? Swamp, water that stays. So the Persians were trapped into the muddy area. They didn't know how to exit. They fled in panic. And we read that soon after this battle, a young runner, Philippidis was his name, ran from Marathon to Athens to announce the victory to the Athenians. But when he reached the center of Athens, he managed to say only one word, Neni kikamen, we won. And then he fell dead out of exhaustion. He collapsed, and I'll tell you why. The man ran in full armor. Why did he run in full armor? He was not a full one, of course. He didn't want the Athenians to see him disarmed and to believe that they were defeated. The armor, the breastplate, the helmet, the shield, the sword, the greaves, all these weighted some 80 kilograms. So Philippidis was already tired because he had fought in the marathon battle. And Herodotus, the father of history, wrote that the same runner, a few days before the marathon battle, had run far away to Sparta to ask for aid. But, the Athenians, in front of the danger from the Persians, they put aside all the differences they had with the Spartans, and they sent the runner to ask for aid. But the Spartans couldn't come immediately to help the Athenians because they had a religious festival, or this is what they said anyway. In those times, and they came the third day after the marathon battle to see the triumph of the Athenians and the spoils that the Athenians had taken from the Persians, the spoils, the weapons. So this Philippidis ran from Athens to Sparta about 200 kilometers, a little bit more. From Sparta to Athens, he fought in the battle, for which we believe that it lasted for 1 hour. But a battle body to body for 1 hour is too much for the body. And then he ran again in full armor, 42 kilometers and 195 meters. Maybe the runners of the marathon race don't know that, but they ran in memory of this young runner, of Philippidis, who lost his life because he wanted to announce the victory to the Athenians. And the marathon race is held in Athens every year since 1896, since the first modern Olympic Games. It is held in Athens every year, the first Sunday of every November. It starts from Marathon, the spot of the battle, and ends in this stadium. So a historical stadium. Okay. Okay, 10 minutes please, it's 9 o'clock.
It's good. Track spot too.
Коза убежала от стадиона, назад перешла сюда.
We're at the site of the very first Olympics, pretty cool, and nice weather today. Actually just met some people from Diamond Bar, which was pretty crazy, so
Hi. Let's go back on the bus.